Okay, so something happened recently which shook the world champion. Magnus Carlsen was playing in the Mr. Dodgy Invitational 3.0 tournament, which is a very tough tournament, and in the 4th round he was paired against Kamil Pliszta, who was 2400 rated. Now of course Magnus Carlsen is the clear favorite, being 400 elo points higher than his opponent. But what happened next shocked the world champion. So it was on this position that Magnus Carlsen realized that he is gone because it is white to play, and Kamil found a brilliant move which turned the tables. So feel free to pause the video and put yourself in Kamil's shoes and try to beat the world champion. Okay, so whoever has found the moves, kudos to them. But before going to the move, let's see how the game started. The game started with 1d4. Kamil is white, Magnus Carlsen is black, and he responded with the move knight to f6, bishop to g5, and this is known as a Trompowsky variation. So now in the world champion's head, he knows this is a 5+0 match. So if he goes according to his opponent's planning in the opening, then the opponent will be very comfortable. So of course here the common move or the main line follows as knight to e4, bishop to f4 and then c5. But Magnus Carlsen chose to go weird and played the move b5. I bet when players play like this, you are shocked at the first moment, but you also know that this is a mistake. So here Kamil geared up and played the move bishop takes knight, g takes knight and e3. Now the pawn is attacked by the bishop and Magnus Carlsen has to do something for the pawn. So he plays the move bishop to b7, a logical move. We cannot take the pawn because this pawn will hang and also the rook, and hence Kamil played the normal looking move knight to f3. Black played a6, g3, c5 and white plays c3. Now you can see all white's pawns are on the dark square, and hence giving up the dark square bishop for the knight was a very good trade. It also helped to double up black's pawns and take out the bishop because he knew that his bishop will be bad with all the pawns on the dark squares. But with the double pawns, Magnus Carlsen also got a semi-open file, the g file. Following up, black plays e6, bishop to g2, d5 and castle. Knight to d7, knight bd2, bishop to e7 and rook to e1. Now white is preparing to play the move e4 and break in the center because the king is in the center, and after he castles, then also the king will be open. So white wants to take out the knight, put his queen somewhere here and launch an attack. Black castles and white strikes with the move e4. Of course you don't want to take the pawn right away, so black played rook to c8, e takes d5, bishop takes d5 and a4. So after striking in the center, white's plan is now to strike in the flank, so that even though the rook on a1 hasn't moved, but then also it will be open and the a file will be his. And therefore black did not take the pawn, because if black takes, then queen will take, and now this pawn is eyed. We can take this, bring our queen here, and black will be in trouble. And therefore black plays the move b4, which is very logical. White plays c4, attacking the bishop, and if you notice, the bishop is nearly trapped because let's say wherever the bishop goes, then white can push the d5 pawn and break into the center, and thus black takes the knight. Knight takes f3 and c takes g4, queen takes and knight to c5. Now you can see this knight is very powerful because it is blockading this pawn and also sitting on a dream outpost. Queen to g4 check, king to h8 and rook a d1. Now we are attacking the queen. We got our rook out with a tempo and queen to c7 by black. Now the idea of white is to bring out his rook somewhere like this, put his queen on h5 and threaten the king directly for a checkmate, and hence white goes with the move queen to h5, rook c to d8, so that now the rook can't come here because black can directly exchange it. So white takes the rook, and now here black takes with the queen, which is the best move. If black had taken with the rook, then this pawn would be hanging because the queen is attacking, and if the bishop takes it like this, then queen to h6, rook is attacked, rook goes to g8, and then after queen to d2, white is doing fine because white is attacking this pawn won't hang because this pawn will also hang, and the position is drawish. Moving behind, hence black took with the queen. Till now, for the entire half of the game, black is having a slight edge because firstly black has this semi-open file right here. Then black has this knight which is blockading this pawn, and also in the future black can anytime snap off the a4 pawn. Being a pawn up, Whereas if white does not get any attack like this, then black is completely winning. So white has to try something or the other to attack. And so here Kamil decided to go knight to h4. This is a very good try because you are bringing more pieces towards the black king. But if you see the move carefully, then this move is a mistake because black can come in with queen to d2. Now you can see the rook is attacked, the pawn on f2 and b2 is attacked, the knight can potentially come on d3 attacking the f2 once again, and black is having a lot of initiative. The bishop can also strike in, and now it is white's king who is not safe. So of course knight to h4 was not a good move, but the better move would have been bishop to f1. Now you will be saying, why is bishop to f1 good? The point being is any other move than bishop to f1. Let's say you move the rook, then you give up the d1 square to the queen, so you can't move the rook. Also if you move the knight, then this square, the queen is coming here. If you move the queen, then there will be no attack on the black king and hence black will be safe. And therefore eliminating all the moves, bishop to f1 is the move which can equalize the game, because let's say now knight takes on a4, then you can go rook to e4 and h4. So the knight can also not take the pawn, and now slowly and steadily white will develop an attack. But white played the move knight to h4, where things went wrong. But Kamil was lucky enough because due to the time, Magnus Carlsen did not find the move that is queen to d2, but blundered with the move queen to d4. So here we are with the position that we saw at the start of the video. It is white to play, and white found a brilliant move with which black was crushed. Yes, it is the move knight going to f4. Boom, you have a knight forking the two beautiful pieces, and if the pawn takes, which happened in the game, then after rook takes e7, you can see there is no checkmate right here because the queen defends. Also the bishop can anytime come to defend its king, whereas black is stuck with his tripled pawns, and also his king is lonely right here. There are two big pieces eyeing the king, and hence black is in horrible trouble. To survive the position and breathe some air, Magnus takes the b2 pawn, hoping that he can promote this pawn, but here rook takes the pawn on f7. Black gives a check, bishop f1, rook takes rook, queen takes rook, and now the big threat of queen to f8 delivering the checkmate. So there can be two moves which can be played. One is h6, so that after check the king can run away, and another is queen coming to h6, so that there can be no check. Let's see what happens for queen coming to h6. Then we can simply give a check. The king has to come to g7, and then after queen e7 check, we fork the king and the knight, winning the knight and the game. And hence Magnus played the move h5. But this move also loses material because we can directly give a check and take this knight, but Kamil wanted few pawns, so he gave check, 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 take this pawn, then check, king comes to f7, check, check, push the king to the corner, and now takes the knight. Queen to b1, defending this pawn, and also he wants to advance here, check, king to c8, pawn push, b3, c6, king to c7, because of course if you try to push and make a queen, then this check and mate. So of course you have to defend that. King to c7, check here, c7, b2, and now white queens, and there are two queens on the board. For the last hope, Magnus tried for some perpetual like this, but after queen to e2 check, king h3, now there is only one check, and after that the king is running away, and then the black king will be mated in one move and the game is over. So right here, after king goes to h3, Magnus Carlsen, the world champion, resigned, and it was this movement when Kamil achieved something that many players want to do, that is beat the world champion, and it is very difficult because Magnus Carlsen is rock solid, but Kamil managed to do so. So this was a beautiful game of two great players, and I hope that you loved this game, found it informative, and if you did, pour your comments in the comment section, like the video, share it to your friends, and also consider subscribing to the channel for more such videos. So till then, Stay safe, play chess, and keep learning. Bye bye.